beat his ass for
can't
y'all.
Wait,
For
I don't
real.
give
I better be quiet.
I don't give a f*** y'all was
all that
quiet,
ski
y'all,
mask
if
and
y'all
all
was
that.
loud.
They got
what
the
the
hood
fuck
over
you
there,
talking about?
like twisted up. I don't give a about nothing.
Gervonta Davis and Lamont Roach scheduled to have a rematch sometime this summer, maybe early fall. All indications based on the announcements that we have is that the fight is more than likely going to happen in August, right?
And Gervonta, you think?
I like Lamont in the rematch.
I think you were one of the few that kind of picked Lamont to.
The rematch between Gervonta Davis and Lamont Roach is officially on, and their recent intense interview showed just how fired up both fighters are. Harsh words were exchanged and the tension was hard to miss. Davis sounded confident, while Roach made it clear he's coming prepared this time. Fans are excited, expecting a very different result from their first clash. Many are hoping the fight will happen in August, though there are concerns it might get delayed until October, which would be a letdown. A final date announcement would finally stop all the rumors.
Match in July, you would think, makes the most sense that Tank and Roach are fighting in August. Unless they talking about pushing the shit all the way back to October, which would be a fucking tragedy. So, we hoping for August, because that's the one that's probably gonna make the most sense. Hopefully we'll get an announcement soon on that so we can stop speculating. Now, with that being said, the Tank Davis Lamont Roach rematch, it will be nothing like the first fight. And I'm tired of people telling me that, oh, Tank can't do nothing different. Lamont Roach just got his number. He fought the same that he always fight. Really. History shows us that that's never the case. As a matter of fact, we got Anthony Yarde and Lyndon Arthur just fought. I'll go to recent history.
This rematch will be a completely different story from their first fight. The belief that Tank Davis can't adapt or that Lamont Roach has figured him out just doesn't hold up. Great fighters learn and adjust, and Tank, being one of the best in the game, will come in with a fresh game plan. Roach is a strong competitor too, and this fight is expected to push both of them to their limits. Anyone expecting a repeat of the first fight is missing the point. Boxing changes fast, and with top-level athletes like Tank and Roach, anything can happen. Fans should get ready for a thrilling showdown. Meanwhile, Lamont Peterson gave his take on Tank Davis's punching power. He acknowledged that Tank hits hard but said he's faced stronger. According to Peterson, the hardest shots he ever took came from Jonathan Owendo. He described Owendo's punches as having a different kind of intensity that stood out even more than Tank's. Peterson's comments give a better understanding of the different kinds of power he's dealt with throughout his career, showing that while Tank is known for knockouts, others have pushed his toughness even further.
He fight how he always fight. He looked how he always looked in every single fight. Sadly mistaken. This idea that, oh, Lamont Roach he just got Tank number. He gonna fight like that again in the second fight. He could do this, he could do that, bro. Y'all are sadly mistaken if you think the second fight is gonna play out anything like the first fight, bro. It's not gonna go that way. Specifically when you fighting at the high level, bro. The highs are high levels. When you got a pound for pound talent in there like Tank Davis, a really great talented fighter that's skilled, that got everything that you could have, and you got somebody like Lamont Roach who's a very good fighter himself. Shit ain't gonna go down like that because the fight game, bro.
Shakur Stevenson has publicly challenged Lamont Peterson to a rematch, expressing full confidence that he can win this time. He mentioned that they've sparred in the past, which gave him a solid understanding of Lamont's style. Shakur believes that experience gives him a real advantage going into a second fight. He's convinced that he can use what he learned during those sessions to outbox Lamont and come away with the win. While he respects Lamont's skill and experience, Shakur is confident he knows where to find openings. He's focused on showing how much he's improved and is determined to prove he has what it takes to beat Lamont in a rematch.
What does the rematch look like between Lamont and Gervonta, you think?
I like Lamont in the rematch.
You were one of the few that kind of picked Lamont to begin with. Why was that?
I sparred with Lamont. I knew that he was a good fighter. He helped me get ready for the Oscar Valdez fight. And I knew his style with Tank's style, what he was going to be able to bring to the table. I knew it. So,
did you really win 20 rounds?
I swear to God, on my daughter's life, I won that much money.
How different does a rematch look in your opinion, Shakur? What adjustments do you think we see from both?
Huh?
What adjustments do we see from both in a rematch?
I think I can't tell you game plans. I could be fighting these guys, so I'm gonna keep my secrets to myself. But truthfully, they both good fighters.
Do you think it's a lot different rematch, or do you think it'll be close again?
It's gonna be a hell of a fight.
How did you see Tank in that fight? A lot of people are saying maybe he's just mentally not there. What did you see?
Nah, he was the same Tank. I don't believe that. I don't got no thought in my brain that makes me think that he wasn't the person he been in all of these other fights. I think he was the same person. All this stuff that he going through stuff. I mean, everybody go through stuff. So he's the same fighter. He's going to be the same fighter throughout his career.
Shakur Stevenson's comments show just how determined he is to take on Lamont Peterson again and prove he belongs at the top. He's aiming to silence any doubts about his abilities with a strong performance. His challenge has caught the attention of fans who are curious to see if he can back up his words. On the other side, Lamont Roach's draw with Gervonta Davis was a game-changer. Before that fight, Roach wasn't widely recognized, but managing to go the distance and get a draw with Tank, something no one else had done, boosted his reputation. Fans and analysts began to take notice, and Roach gained a lot more respect for his skills. For Davis, this makes the rematch even more serious. He knows Roach is a real threat now and plans to come in fully focused. The draw showed that Roach can compete at the highest level, and Tank is determined not to repeat any mistakes. Roach has confirmed the rematch is set, and this time he's more motivated than ever. He believes he was unfairly judged in the first fight and wants to prove he deserves the win. Roach is ready to show how much he's grown and is aiming to leave no doubt about who the better fighter is.
I don't know, might be there a little longer.
Well, what we did see, is it gonna be a rematch, or are y'all still working on it, or what's the plan?
It's gonna be a rematch.
But it's
9
not
times out of 10,
sealed to deliver.
Yeah, it's on the way.
Okay.
I'm gonna tell you right now, I'm signed the seal.
Okay.
So we waiting on the other half. That's all.
Okay, cool.
I like when people say that my part is done.
Yeah, I did. Yeah. I did what I had to do.
Yeah.
Lamont Roach's training camp is fully centered on fixing the mistakes he made in the first fight. He's sharpening his technique and building a smarter game plan to deliver a stronger performance this time. Though he's moved up in weight for the rematch, Roach is confident he can handle Gervonta Davis's well-known power. He spent time studying Davis's weaknesses and plans to take full advantage of them in the ring. Roach isn't fazed by Davis's reputation. He sees this as his chance to show how far he's come. With renewed focus and confidence, Roach truly believes he can pull off an upset. The rematch has sparked major buzz, and fans are curious to see if he can get the win he feels was taken from him the first time. In that original fight, Roach exposed a key flaw in Davis's career approach. For years, Tank was often criticized for picking opponents who fit his style and didn't pose much risk. That strategy helped him stay unbeaten, but Roach changed the game. He came in ready, disciplined, and unfazed by Tank's usual pressure. His calm, strategic performance forced Davis out of his comfort zone and showed that Tank could be challenged when facing someone with a solid plan and real skill. Roach proved that Davis couldn't just rely on carefully chosen matchups. Real preparation and toughness could shake that formula.
That fight with Tank and Lamont Roach shows y'all how protected Tank has been for the past several years. And the people saying, oh, Tank know Lamont and he been respected Lamont because they fought in the amateurs. Man, he was cherry picking Lamont, and really thought he was going to get that win. But Lamont wasn't coming to play around. He stood his ground and fought back. And to be honest, he won the fight. The rematch is going to be a knockout.
Jaron Ennis recently shared his thoughts on how fans reacted to Gervonta Davis's performance, pointing out how public opinion can heavily influence how a fight is judged. He noted that while many were quick to criticize Tank, they ignored how well he fought in the early rounds. Ennis said Tank used smart movement and solid boxing to throw off his opponent at the start. But as the fight went on and Tank faced more pressure, fans began focusing only on the tough moments and overlooked the good parts of his performance. Ennis suggested that a lot of the negativity aimed at Tank might come from personal bias rather than a fair breakdown of what happened in the ring. He added that some people expected a clear knockout and were let down when it didn't happen, especially since Lamont Peterson, while talented, isn't seen as a major name in the sport. According to Ennis, these high expectations may have caused some fans to judge the fight more harshly than necessary. Still, he gave both fighters credit and said the fight was close, scoring it 75-75 or a draw. He felt Lamont did well but not quite enough to win outright. Enes's comments highlight how fans' opinions can sometimes blur a true reading of a fighter's skills and strategy, reminding us that bias often plays a big role in how performances are viewed.
I gotta ask you about fights. Gervonta Davis, draw with Lamont Roach. People looking at it as controversial because of the whole knee. What'd you think of the fight?
It was a great fight. You know, I had it 7-5 Tank, or you can make it the draw. But I feel like Lamont, he did good. He did a great job actually. You know, I just don't think he did enough to pull it off. You know, and I feel like people was overlooking what Tank was doing in the first like 5-6 rounds. You know, he was like boxing and frustrating him a little bit. You know, but Lamont, like I said before, Lamont did a great job. You know.
Yeah, some people had it Tank, some people had it draw, some people had it Lamont. Do you think Tank gets a lot of criticism for not knocking Lamont out and Lamont not being a big name, so they overblow it?
I think so. Yeah, and I feel like people just don't like Tank to a point where any little thing, just because he ain't knock him out, he probably feel as though that he lost and he didn't, or it was a draw. You know. I feel like Tank was doing a lot of smart things in the beginning, moving a little bit too much, but I feel like he was still like frustrating him and things like that. And I think Tank did a good job. Like, he looked sharp than me. You know, I don't know. People just be talking. You know, at the end of the day, you can't please everybody.
Boxing legend Roy Jones Jr. recently shared his thoughts on the upcoming fight between Gervonta Davis and Lamont Roach, highlighting Roach's talent and experience. He made it clear that Roach isn't someone to overlook. Having known him for years, Jones understands the hard work and dedication Roach brings to the ring. He's always believed Roach has what it takes to compete at the top level, and his performance against Tank only backed that up. While most expect Davis to win, Jones warned that this isn't a simple matchup. Roach is a serious opponent with deep experience, and his long history with Tank makes him a unique threat. According to Jones, Roach knows Tank's style better than most, which could play a big role in how the fight unfolds. Though he didn't make a prediction, Jones stressed that Roach shouldn't be taken lightly. He's already proven he belongs in the ring with the best and could cause real problems. Jones also avoided talking about Tank's future fights, saying the main focus should be on getting past Roach first. In his view, this fight is a major test for Tank before any talk of what comes next.
You told him peace? No, you told him peace?
That's why y'all like train off? No, you said something else. Something to smack home.
Yeah, you got a question?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, come on.
I mean, first thing we got to ask you what you think about this fight, man.
I think it's a great fight. Two great guys. I think Roach is a great formidable opponent. Tomorrow, Tank gonna test his Tank and see how good he is in the late round.
Presumably, Tank is supposed to, win this fight. This is a fight that there's not a lot of doubt about him coming out victorious in. So the talk shifts, and we got to know, Roy, from your perspective, Tank Shakur. When you think about that fight being a potential fight this year, how do you see it going?
I ain't gonna really think about that yet because I'm waiting after he finishes this fight with Roach. Roach is not just your average everyday opponent. Roach is a person who knows Tank, who's been around Tank his whole life. This is a different fight. You can't put Roach to the side like that. I'm sorry. Now, I'm not saying that he's gonna win the fight. I don't know that, but Roach cannot be this underrated like that. You understand? You gotta understand that Roach came from basically the same ecosystem as Tank came from. Roach is a very formidable opponent. So I'm not gonna talk about none of that till we get by Roach, because what I'm telling you about the other stuff don't really mean that right now.
Okay, let me ask you this, because this did happen.
I'm feeling good always. How you doing?
I'm always good. You're a special fighter. Tank's a special fighter. What do you like about him? What makes him different?
I like that when Tank come to fight, Tank come to knock you out. Tank don't come to just beat you by decision. He come to take you out. He come to try to get the job done best way he can. And he loves to come there and entertain the fans. He's not there to play around. He's trying to smoke you.
Concerns have been raised about possible obstacles Gervonta Tank Davis might face in his upcoming rematch, with some pointing to behind-the-scenes business moves designed to slow him down. Turki Alil Sheikh specifically noted that efforts are being made to block Tank from securing his preferred venue in Houston. He mentioned reports of rival promoters trying to schedule competing events at the same time or close by, a tactic often used in boxing to draw attention away and impact ticket sales. These kinds of strategies are nothing new in the sport, where competition outside the ring can be just as intense as the fights themselves.
I said that the reason that Gervonta Davis is having a problem is because people are trying to compete and block the venue. I said that people had told me that there were people that were trying to counter program Gervonta Davis in Houston for that fight, right? That's what I had said then. And that was something that I was like, yeah, it kind of seems like that. And why would I believe that? I would believe that, and I would believe that that would be true because that's a standard business practice in boxing. And it's a standard business practice in music. Now, it may be an underhanded one, but it is still one when you block venues or when you put on an event right next to that event on the same weekend. So you can, or if you are, you have a venue, make sure I say this very specifically. If you have a venue that you usually use and they just keep competing for every single solitary weekend, right? That's a way where you keep your competitors from being able to get a foothold and you start trying to crumble their business. Also, people have done that for boxers before, except for they did it informally, which is called doing what? Blackballing you. If you do not fight for a certain promoter, then that promoter is going to go out of their way to try to make sure that you don't have any fights. That's called blackballing. Similar to NBA basketball players, that's called blackballing.
This kind of tactic isn't exclusive to boxing. It happens in other industries too, like music. The goal is to hurt a competitor's chances of drawing a big audience by scheduling rival events at the same time. It's a form of business sabotage that, while not officially illegal, is often used to block access to top venues or steal attention. The strategy aims to slow down or damage a competitor's momentum, and though it's been used for years, it's still seen as unfair by many. For fighters like Tank Davis, these behind-the-scenes moves can create extra pressure and disrupt promotional plans. Even though it's a known part of the business, it adds another challenge to an already demanding sport. If Tank wants a clear path in this rematch, he may have to work through these outside hurdles as well as the ones in the ring.
Except for they did it informally, which is called doing what? Blackballing you. If you do not fight for a certain promoter, then that promoter is going to go out of their way to try to make sure that you don't have any fights. That's called blackballing. Similar to NBA basketball players, that's called blackballing. When you have somebody like Mahmoud Abdul Rauf, and Mahmoud Abdul Rauf is a great player, but you don't like his religion. So what do? You blackball him. You put him on the bench. You cut him. When people he tries out for new teams, nobody wants to even give him a tryout, right? Got to go play overseas or something because you get blackballed. So what Knockout Boxing TV said, Knockout Boxing 86 TV said, was that his sources told him that Turkey, and he didn't say the specifics as long as I got into the video, but they're trying to stop Gervonta for having other fights, getting in the middle of the fights.
That's it for today's video. Stay tuned for the next one.